Previously on Coffee Talk.
I will tell you my story. I will tell you everything that has happened to me. I will tell you the story as embarrassing as it might be. Because a lot of them, a lot of my stories are very embarrassing, man. I look up. We both look up at the same time. And there's a gun being pointed at us between my mom's eyes. And my mom immediately went into that paternity mode where she gonna protect me. She jumped up. She said, "What you gonna do?" My mom was tough, man. "What you gonna do? You gonna shoot me? Well, go ahead. Do it then. Shoot me." So this episode is about trying to address old wounds. You have to address the trauma. You have to address the wound. And that's what I think actually happened to my dad. That is what happened to my dad. And I'm going to explain that. That paper that I wrote in 8th grade, I was writing about my dad and didn't even know it. My dad was the one that did that. I'm reading through this paper and I'm like, my dad was the one. He was that student that was the student activist, the valedictorian, class president. He created that petition that turned into Brown versus the Board of Education that desegregated the schools all over the United States. That was him. I had no idea. It turns out there was a traveling exhibit sponsored by Bank of America going all over the United States called Courage. Had my dad's photo in it. That these civil rights activists, Ossie Davis, wrote a book called The People of Clarendon County. My dad's photo's in it. I get kind of curious and I get on the internet and I search my dad's name. He's all over the internet. Turns out this principal altered my dad's transcripts as retaliation to make him appear to be a failing student. So what happened is, this one act that my dad did, just trying to do the right thing, changed the course of his life. Wasn't allowed to go to college because as far as the colleges knew, he was a failing student. This one man, he affected the course of his life, but you have the opportunity and the chance to actually address your wounds, have a good life, and to make your life better on the other side. We all have the ability to recover and overcome. I'm a testimony of that. Hey everybody, how you doing? Well, this is episode 3 of Coffee Talk. Can't believe this is the 3rd episode. This is kind of overwhelming to think that, this is my 3rd TV show. So anyway, I want to talk to y'all about some things that people don't really talk a whole lot about. Like, people always talk about money and, being successful and, doing different things and, trying to do the things that will benefit your life. We all try and do that. But there's one thing that no one really talks about is how important time is. Time is something that's extraordinarily important. Time is something that you really don't get back. Everyone can have money. Everyone can have another job. You can even get another spouse. But time is something that you never get back. So I'm going to set this up for you. So in the last episode, we said that, I said that my mom had passed from colon cancer. And that was very dramatic for me because I never had anyone that close to me pass from anything like that. I basically had to watch my mom kind of deteriorate. And it was super fast, so I didn't even have a chance to prepare for it. So anyway, so it's 1999, and it's December, right around Christmas time. And I'm in the hospital, and my mom is not doing so well. She got to the point where she was actually non-responsive. And I had high hopes, but, I knew that the end was near. And it gave me extreme anxiety. Because back then, I really never knew what it was like to have someone or to see someone take their last breath. And I've seen it many times now. but I didn't see it before. And it just gave me intense anxiety just to even think about it. But I was determined not to leave. I was not going to leave my mom in the hospital. I was not going to leave the room. We all knew that she was going to go soon. So I never wanted her to feel like she was alone. I never wanted her to wake up and be in the room by herself. So I moved into the hospital. And when she got to the point where she was non-responsive, I knew the end was coming. I knew it was close. So I stood up for basically 5 days waiting for my mom to take that last breath. And, within those 5 days, I had extreme amount of anxiety just waiting for it to happen. I heard people describe what it's like, but I had never seen it back then. But I wasn't leaving. So I was up for 5 days just waiting for her, and I happened to go into the bathroom, and I was really upset, and I, was washing my hands, and I walk out, and I see my mom on the edge of the bed, sitting up, looking as if there was nothing wrong, as if she no longer had cancer. And I was amazed. I thought I had just witnessed a miracle. I'm thinking, oh man, this is great. I can't believe that God healed her. So I ran over to her, and she said, come over here. I have to talk to you about something. This is extraordinarily important. So I sat on the side of the bed with my mom, and we were talking, and she said, I want you to make me a promise. She said, promise me that you will not do what I did. You won't be like me. And at first I didn't know what she meant by that, because my mom was a heck of a lady, so of course I want to be like her. She said, I just divorced your father 2 weeks ago. And I was just looking forward to my new life. And I'm out of time. She said, don't be like me. Don't be with someone that you know you're not supposed to be with. Don't be with someone that you know is not for you, who is not treating you the way that you deserve to be treated. Don't be with someone who doesn't value you for the person that you are. I sat there and I listened to her. And she said, on the flip side of that, she said, make sure that when you find the love of your life, you treat her with all the love and respect. You give her all the love that you have to give, because that's extraordinarily important. She said, do not mistreat her. And when you have kids, you make sure that you give those kids all the love that you have to give. You make sure that their lives are extraordinarily more and just a wonderful life. You give them the life that they deserve, because kids don't ask to come here. So they shouldn't have to go through any kind of trauma or any kind of a heartbreak or anything. Take care of your kids. So she said, you got to make me a promise that you will do that. Take care of your children, take care of your wife, and treat them the way they deserve to be, and do not put them through anything like we've been through. So, of course I made the promise to her. Of course I said, I would do whatever you want me to do, because I know the advice that you're giving me is going to make me a better man. We talked for like an hour. I'm going to put my coffee down. The story's getting good. We talked for like an hour, and after giving me all this advice, and me thinking that, she's giving me advice, but this is a miracle. She's better. God, I just witnessed a miracle. So my mom said, she grew a little tired, and then she said, cover me up. I think I'm going to lay back down and go to sleep. And I said, okay. And before she laid down, she gave me the biggest hug that I've ever had. My mom gave really good hugs. It brings a smile to my face right now just even thinking about it. So she gave me this big hug, and I didn't want to let her go. She could tell that I really did not want to let go. I was just, so overwhelmed by what had just happened and the advice that she just given me. But I didn't think that was going to be the last thing that she said to me. I didn't think that at all. What I was thinking was that she was just, giving me some motherly advice. So I hugged her, and I hugged her so hard, and I didn't want to let go. And she sensed that. And when we stopped the embrace, she said, "Don't worry, I'll hug you again." So I was like, "All right, Mom." So she lays down, and I'm all happy, and I'm thinking that, things are going to, get better, and she's going to come back home. And, I just witnessed a miracle as far as I was concerned. So I went back into the bathroom, and I sat there, and I kind of looked in the mirror for a minute and couldn't believe what I had just seen. Because how often do you see a miracle? I come back out of the room, and I look at my mom, and she drifted off to sleep and went right back into that non-responsive state that she had been in before we had to talk. And I was just thinking, man, what is this? I was kind of upset because I thought I had witnessed a miracle. And my mom's not responsive again. And when I think about it now, I did see a miracle. My mom came out of the cancer. God gave her the ability to come out of the cancer to give me that advice that she gave me. And I'll tell you why I think this. I had been in the hospital for 5 days waiting for her to just take her last breath. This happened. And then I didn't want to leave. So what I did, I just stayed there the entire time, like I told you before. But the thing is, now that she's in a non-responsive state, I'm upset again. So I had been up for 5 days waiting for Mom to take that breath. And that next morning around 10 o'clock, I walked out the room for 5 minutes. And I had told her when we were talking how much anxiety I had about her taking that last breath. And I believe that she hung on so much for so long after that conversation simply because she was waiting until I left the room. I made a phone call for 5 minutes and came back, and that was when I found her. She died around 10 o'clock. And, everybody was upset. I called the family. We're all grieving. I was so tired. I've been so extremely exhausted. After we cleaned my mom's stuff out of the hospital, and the hospital, the staff, they loved my mom. They were just as upset as we were. All I could think of was, I got to go back to my aunt's house and go to sleep. I was so tired. I was exhausted. So I go back to my aunt's house. First thing I do is go to the bedroom. It's daylight now. So I get into bed. I put the covers over my head. I just want to go to sleep. I've been up for 5 days. I hadn't laid down for more than 30 seconds when I felt this impression of a person, or what I thought was a person. I actually thought it was my cousins playing around. I felt this impression of someone grabbing me and hugging me harder than I had ever felt. It was such an extraordinarily hard hug that I thought it was my cousins playing around. My cousins were kind of young back then. They liked to play a lot of jokes and things like that. They hadn't seen me for a long time. So I thought my cousins had snuck in the room and were just hugging me. So the embrace got so intense that with the covers over my head, I kind of felt like a little suffocation, like I couldn't really breathe. It was just such an embrace that it was just such a strong embrace. I throw the covers off and I'm in the room by myself. My mom, on the morning that she died, hugged me from the afterlife. So no one can tell me that the afterlife doesn't exist. No one can tell me that that there isn't more beyond what we have right now. And even if you don't believe in anything, and don't believe in God, and just believe in science, science even tells you something has to happen for something else to happen. And there has to be something responsible for it happening. So, just wanted to tell you guys, just make sure that you value your time. You can always get another job. You can always find another person. You can always make more money. But you can never, ever get more time. Time is the most valuable thing that's out there. Time is something that you can never get back. And my mom taught me that. And I'll be quite honest with you, in another life, in my prior life, I've done a lot of things. I've been a liar, I've been a cheater, narcissistic. I've been a lot of things, who I used to be. But I am no longer that way. And I will tell you one thing. And this is for the fellas out there. I will tell you one thing. Make sure that you treat women like they deserve to be treated. You must respect women and give them what they deserve. Because I'm going to leave you with this. And I want you really to think about this. A woman is the only creature in the universe that can give birth to a spirit in the human form. So I'm going to repeat that again. A woman is the only creature in the universe that can give birth to a spirit in the human form. And just because of that one fact, we can never be as good as them. Even the Virgin Mary didn't need a man. I mean, she had some help from God, but you have to respect women. You have to treat them like that they deserve to be treated. Because just because of the fact that they are a woman, they deserve respect, honesty, and your love. If you can't give that to them, then you should care about them enough to let them go. Now, on the flip side of that, women need to treat men well, because it just doesn't go one way. So men, you need to treat your women like they're diamonds and gold. But women, you need to respect your man as well. You need to make sure that you treat them as so. So I'm just going to leave you with this. Like I said, I hope you enjoyed my story about my mom. It's very personal to me. A lot of people don't know that story. I haven't shared that with pretty much anyone. I mean, it's in my book, but my book's not finished yet. So I just want to say that value your time. Value the person that you're with. Because time is the one thing that you can never get back. And time is more valuable than anything. So I hope you enjoyed this episode of Coffee Talk. And I talked so much this time, I didn't drink that much coffee again. But I hope you got something from what I'm saying. I hope you learned something. And I hope you can apply it to your life. This is Jason Wells. This is Coffee Talk, episode 3. And there's going to be many more because I always have a lot to say. Have a great day. Coffee Talk.
Thank God.